Vandaag zijn we met vrouwenstemmen in het zuidwesten van China, de Yunnan-provincie. In de Yunnan-provincie wonen 26 minderheden die voornamelijk bestaan van de agricultuur. Het zijn de minst bedeelden in China. Hilary Weadon, een Engelse die wel meer dan 5 jaar in China woont, heeft zich toegelegd op het verzorgen van educatie. Ze neemt ons mee naar 2 Bulong-dorpen en laat zien wat er gedaan kan worden voor deze mensen. Het gesprek zal plaatsvinden in het Engels.
Hilary Weadon, and I live in the beautiful city of Kunming in Yunnan province in the western region of China. I have lived in China now for over 5 years. I've lived in Shenyang, Beijing, Tianjin, and now in Kunming. And all the cities were very different. I am a Baha'i, a member of the Baha'i faith, whose principle is the oneness of humanity. We believe that education is the most important thing for the development of people. Since I came to Yunnan, I have discovered that although Kunming city is very rich and is growing fast, the poor areas are still as poor as they were 50 years ago. There is little progress, there is little change, and there are very few people to go out there and help them. Recently, I went to visit a village in a very remote area, which is inhabited by the Bulong people. The Bulong people have lived in and around that area for over 1,000 years. But when you see the village, you will realize there has been very little progress. They have their own traditions, they have their own customs. They used to have their own traditional costume until they could no longer grow cotton to make that costume. Now their village is in extreme state of poverty. To visit the village gives us an idea of what means to be really poor. I was introduced to this village by Save the Children, a British organisation that has an office in Kunming. This organisation was approached by the officials of Xuanjiang County in Linsang Prefecture, where the villages lie, and they asked for help, to help the schools to develop, to help us to relieve the poverty. Save the Children cannot do this sort of work. They have larger goals, they have more areas to cover. So they passed the project on to me. Recently, we went to see the villagers, we went to meet the people who had appealed for help. And I think when you see the film, you will realize that the need for help is very, very extreme. I work with an organization in China called Project Hope. Project Hope is a non-governmental association. It was funded and begun in 1989, and its aim is to provide education in the poorest areas. They help to fund any project that I begin, and I help them with their projects. We can't do it without help. We can't do it without other people becoming involved. In the village, most of the children can go to school. or they could if they had sufficient clothing. But in China, it is a rule that a child must have both a top and trousers. In this village, some children do not even have that much clothing. Look closely, you will see they have no shoes. They have an income in their family of a maximum of 150 yuan. Not for 1 month, but for 1 year. 150 yuan represents less than $20 US. Not for 1 month, but for 1 year. Can you imagine? The village has been cut off from the outside world for so long. The villagers do not have any idea either of how to progress or how poor they really are. We believe that education, and a real education, not just reading books, is the answer to this problem.
Allereerst een bezoek aan een van de rijkere Bulongdorpen die wij op onze weg naar een hoger gelegen dorp bezochten. Dit om te laten zien dat de lager gelegen dorpen met een betere grond voor het verbouwen van onder andere maïs minder hulp nodig hebben dan de dorpen die op zo'n 4000 meter huizen. De grond is daar minder vruchtbaar en moeilijker te bebouwen. En de maïs wordt zorgvuldig uitgeveegd om de zon de rest te laten doen. Deze Bulong-gemeenschap, gelegen in de vallei, biedt ruimte voor scholing in een naburig gelegen dorp. De kinderen gaan naar school in de ochtenden en 's middags helpen ze hun ouders met het verbouwen van de akkers. Rond het 10e jaar is er geen kans op verdere scholing, omdat de afstand en het geldgebrek een belemmering vormen. 4000 meter hoogte. Een dorp waar ooit zelf kleding werd gemaakt omdat ze in dat gebied nog katoen mochten verbouwen. Maar tijdens de culturele revolutie kregen de minderheden grond toegewezen en het verbouwen van rijst werd ingevoerd. Op grond wat weinig vruchtbaar was en moeilijk te bebouwen vanwege de steile hellingen. Maar eerst een stop bij het lokale gemeentehuis. De ambtenaren ontvangen ons met open armen, want verzetjes zijn hier schaars. Een kopje thee en het bekijken van de kaart hoe we bij de volgende Bulong gemeenschap moeten komen. En ons op weg te helpen, daar naartoe. De jeep staat al gereed.
没吃过糖啊，可能是。香。
我烧那个鱼晒出来，我可能把叫狼啊。觉得好奇怪，人家是请着金，这是金啊。
对，那现在干嘛还摆那些东西？
现在不在了，现在。
这个是多少钱？
就是到给你我这些。
上电视来，快点，给我来。
Chẳng cho gì hết. Chẳng cho sao phát from boy bên là ở bên nào chào phụ gì. Cho bên này vậy, cho bên này phát from boy sơn này. Ở bên này phát from boy hả? Nên nó có chụp con chưa? Nó cho xin biết chưa?
Nè, chúa nè.
Chúa rồi, chúa biết khóc rồi. Nào ở đây nhà cho sự tao mùng đi biến thu đi biến đi chú hả?
你叫什么名字？
李文华。
说得很好。你喜欢水星吗？喜欢。
喜欢。
谁要说？
没关系，赶快来。
没有。来吧。那给我们直播的好跟他。
给你们吃汤的嘛，什么？
叫什么名字？
魏新波。
魏新波，你好。
3年级。
啊，3年级哦。你叫什么名字？
刘芳。
刘芳。这是什么东西？在那边是什么东西？这是。
Hello.
Pig. Pig. 2 pigs. 1, 2.
1, 2.
Yes. Yes. Very good. Sao kìa?
Goodbye.
Hello. Chào lại luôn.
Hello lại luôn.
Hello, goodbye.
Hello goodbye.
Cha trời.
Come with me. Come with me. Let's go. Just a little background to China. I've lived in China, as I said, 5 years. In those 5 years, I have traveled quite a lot around the various provinces. In China, there are 56 minorities. Minorities means the people who have a history, they've come from somewhere else, but they've settled in China, and they've settled on the border, in the border countries. close to Myanmar, close to Laos, close to Vietnam. There are many, many minorities close to Russia. But here in Yunnan, which is the furthest west province in the south, we have 26 minorities, which is a lot. They are all small numbers, and the Bulong minority has a history of over 1,000 years in this area. This is a very mountainous region here. It is, we were told yesterday, 92% mountains, which makes it a very difficult area to develop. The land around is almost entirely agricultural. They develop every inch of every field, of every mountain. There is almost nothing left for wildness. There are some trees at the top of the mountains. The Bulong minority that you're seeing now in this village, they have been here for over 500 years. And what is happening in the village now is that their houses are all falling down. They all live here. The children can go to school. They have a school which has been built for them. They can go to school, but they only go to school until about the 4th year. And then, because they have to travel a long way on a very long road, they don't go on to secondary school. Now, our hope is that we will develop a secondary school in this area for the Bulong minority.
These are the... 你有几岁个人的？你有几岁那个人的？啊？72岁个。
72.
72.
Yeah, really old.
哎。你个是最老的，你们村里面？
老了。
比你老那个有？
有了。
不有个，你是最老那个。
最老还有这个，那个嘛100多了。
100多了。
Somebody in the village is over 100 years old. She's 70.
不会走了吗？那个。
不会走了个。
So there's two that are over 100 years old.
Yeah.
And she is in 70s.
你比你老的就有一台个人了个。那身体还好了嘛？
看什么两块两层的边，在不是。
边个？多细细的个。娃娃给你在着。你一个人在个？啊
Lives by herself.
一个
here.
人啊？住之间个？
不行。
你住在那店了哈？
哦。In a little house behind. Just one person on her own, but the whole village is like a big family.
那你们在这里面有很多人都是老人单独住的，都是不跟娃娃住了吗？那你们的生活那些呢？
个本家庭去做，家庭去忙。冇人都炒冇切都炒了嘛。
ไม่ยังรัดขาฟ้าลุ่นยังรัดขา
真的挺好，看过很多，做过了很多。
学校是搞得好的。学校对。
And we would like to help. We would like to help to lift those villages, to help them to help themselves. And our first object is to support the children to go to school. Within the village, what they need is 400 yuan per year, which is an equivalent of $50. In 1 year, they need that to cover books, to cover their administration, and to cover any daily needs. This will give them a beginning. The teachers, 2 young teachers, are there. They have good ideas. And if the children are encouraged to go to school, this will be a beginning. They need clothes. If you have any old clothes that are still good and you feel you would like to donate, then please get in touch with us. But one more thing that we feel we can do, which maybe is more important in the long run, is to send 2 of the children chosen by the villagers to the central minority school, which is based in Xuanjiang County. This minority school caters for 24 minorities. The children live together, study together, share ideas, learn together. The education is more advanced. With their attendance at this school, they will bring back new ideas to their villages, because they have to go home. They have to go back to their villages in the holidays. To support one child at that school is impossible for any of the villagers. It costs 900 yuan per year. That is 125 US dollars. Not much for us, but very, very way out of reach for them. They cannot imagine that much money, even if they all collected together. Our suggestion is that it would be possible to support one child to go to the school. If each person who was interested supported a child to go to school, we would be able to help all 14 of these very poor Bulong villages. In China we are collecting. In Germany we are collecting. Many people are now becoming aware of the need for help. The government cannot do it all. They need outside help and are welcoming it. If you would like to donate, if you would like to help us in any way, in practical sense, in money, in articles of clothing, maybe even old books, then please contact us. You will find our email addresses at the end of this film. Thank you very much for watching. I would like to tell you that there are no administration costs taken, that every single amount of money which is sent goes directly to the villagers, to the children, to help lift that village and the other villages like them out of poverty.